Hello, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in with us. Welcome back to Let's Talk NBA with Rick and Jack. Jack, how are you?
Wonderful, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. It's been a few days since our last show. I couldn't wait to do this one. I mean, there's so much going on in the NBA.
So much to talk about.
The NBA, this could be an hour and a half, 2-hour show we were talking about in our production meeting yesterday. We have a production meeting discussing things we're doing, and we talk about NBA, and there's a lot of good basketball, there's a lot of good players, but there's also a lot of drama and craziness going on. And what's sticking out in your mind, there's a lot of crazy stuff in the NBA, stuff that I don't agree with, and stuff that's great, and it's a funny place right now, the NBA. It really is.
What stuck out to me right now, it's sticking out right now, it's the I would consider it like the double standards when it comes to the business of the NBA. When a player wants to be moved, that player seems to be, we end up beating up on that player. But when a team wants to move that player, it's fine by us, and we're like, okay, let the general managers do their job, and instead the players can't dictate when they want to play or where they want to play, but the general managers can at a drop of a dime ship a player out. I just think that's unfair.
Yeah, give us a couple of examples of what you're talking about. I know it's been happening in the NBA recently.
So right now we have Blake sitting on the bench
in Detroit, exactly, because they said they'd move him.
They're moving,
so he's not playing.
So they don't want to get injured.
Ridiculous.
And then last time when Harden wanted to move, he, they had him out there still playing. They're doing all of this.
He was playing.
He was playing his butt off, but then. Hey, same thing again right now in Cleveland. They wanted to move Drummond?
Andre Drummond.
And
same thing. He's sitting
on the bench.
Well, you're not going to play until we move you. How about the fans? How about the people that watch on TV? How about the networks that put this on? How about the commercials that you have out there? The people that have very, very expensive commercials on their networks to see Andre Drummond play for Cleveland and to see Blake Griffin play for Detroit, and they're not playing because they're going to be moved. And again, that's a double standard because they're two very good players still.
Yes.
And they're probably going to get moved to a really good team that's going to make a difference in the championship run. And the teams that have been working so hard to come from mediocrity and move up this year, and we'll talk more about that, the teams that have really coming around, it hurts them. I mean, the NBA is a messed up place. I mean, another example is the All-Star game. What, are you kidding me? What All-Star game?
Nah,
you know how many people want to go to an All-Star game that is played and how many fans just linger around? Again, it's a recipe for COVID. Let these guys rest for a week. Give them a week off. They started again early after having, that long season into, what was it, July or August? Come on.
And you see,
let's let these guys rest. But it's money, money, money.
Absolutely. It's based on money because you have a guy like Anthony Davis right now, where it's basically has an Achilles injury that can be season-ending.
Oh, without a doubt.
You don't think that extra week would help him heal that Achilles and do what's necessary to bring him back up 100%? Do you really want to have a limping Lakers going into the playoffs? That's going to be devastating for your bottom line as far as money-wise, not having such a star in the playoffs.
Anthony Davis' injury is critical.
Yes.
It's a strained calf and inflammation of his Achilles. Now, the problem there is how many players do you see? A Kevin Durant who had a similar situation, a bad calf, his Achilles was bothering him. Took 9 games off, missed 9 games. The first game back, and of course the doctor's orders, doctors don't fully know a body and how it's going to react. Oh, the injury looks fine on x-rays and so forth, but you don't fully know how that body's going to react. And Kevin Durant got injured and was out a year. I don't see right now, unless they fully heal this thing, Anthony Davis getting healthy this year because he's just going to keep injuring it. That's a very serious 2 to 3 month injury. But, they'll get him back out there, and I just hope the bad doesn't happen because he's a good guy. He's a good guy and a good ball player. Fantastic ball player. But how's it going to affect the Lakers?
Kuzma has to step up.
Is that going to happen?
He doesn't have a choice.
Well, he said he's ready. Okay, he's ready. The thing people don't realize is this. Kyle Kuzma is an average basketball player, in my opinion. And they moved a lot of great kids out of that organization.
They all flourish.
Oh, They're all flourishing. Look at Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram, Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson had 40 points last night for Utah. I mean, Ball's doing okay. But these guys all got moved. They kept Kuzma. And the funny thing is people are like, oh, Kuzma's averaging in the last 10 games 19 points a game. Well, of course, nobody guards him. But watch now, watch now that he's the number 2 guy if they're going to guard him or not. And watch his numbers go down. People don't get it. Oh, Kuzma's playing great ball. Kuzma's the man.
So now
he's the man because nobody's guarding him because they guard the other 2 ball players.
And now he instead of just being ready to take a shot, he's going to actually have to create his own shots now.
Yeah, it's funny because you look at Schroeder, who came from OKC. He was a good player there. He's prolific with the Lakers. Why? Because nobody guards him. He played with a bunch of bums in OKC. But nobody guards him because they're guarding the other 2 guys. You watch with Anthony Davis out of there how their scoring efficiency is going to go down. And again, LeBron's playing too many minutes. He's playing incredible ball. He's 36 years old. He is Superman. But watch him continue to play more minutes. His minutes are up this year, and he's going to get injured. The Lakers, I'm not real positive about where they're going to end up. Of course, they're going to make the playoffs. If they can keep all these guys healthy, of course they're going to be good. But I'm a little concerned about where the Lakers sit right now. And Utah, well, what's up with Utah?
Utah is one of those teams that they're not on your radar until it's too late. Yeah. And right now you see
Philadelphia said that last night. 18 out of 19 they won after starting 4-4. Utah's loaded. Clarkson had 40 points. Hey, a sub had 40 points.
And this is what I was telling you when we were talking. I'm like, Utah, when you're discussing teams that have deep bench, Utah is usually not the team that comes up. They talk about a Clippers, or they talk about the Brooklyn Nets. The Jazz never comes up, and here their bench is deep.
Oh, they got great players. I mean, Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. Again, that's their 2 top players. Great players. Gobert is great. He that middle, he protects it. Plus he's very effective shooting. And then you bring in, you let people don't look at Joe Ingles. Who's Joe Ingles? The guy makes 20 a game. You know, hey, Jordan Clarkson, what? The Lakers got rid of him. Hey, did you forget about Mike Conley? What kind of career he had in Memphis? Watch out, Utah's loaded.
They are.
Utah's loaded.
I was surprised when I was looking at the roster. I'm like, oh my gosh, like they can potentially, like they're probably.
And well coached.
Yes, very
well coached. Quinn Snyder is a great coach. He is a great coach, and his players love him. So that's a dangerous team.
Very dangerous team, because you see they're beating up on the East and the West. It doesn't matter who it is, they're dominating.
Now it's going to be interesting. They're going to play the Clippers back-to-back, Wednesday night and Friday night. They're going to play the Clippers. Now, the Clippers last night, the last 2 games, 4 starters have been out. 4 starters have been out. Paul George, Leonard, Batum, and Beverly. 4 starters did not play the last 2 nights. What happened with the Clippers? They won both games. They're loaded.
They are
Marcus
loaded.
Morris.
But they are loaded. But can they go through the long haul with it?
The Clippers are the most extensive bench in the league and the most experienced. They got some good young kids. That Terrence Mann, that rookie, he's a very fine ball player. You bring Lou Williams in, and Lou hasn't been that great since the bubble. Lou's starting to come around. I mean, this is a real team here. And then you bring in Zubats. What a great center. You got 2 great centers there. You got Trez Harrell and you got Zubats. The Clippers are more loaded than anybody. I watched the game last night with all those subs, and they're playing a good Miami team. Playing a good, almost totally healthy, pretty much healthy. And they beat a good Miami team last night with 4 starters out of the lineup. Think about it.
That Miami team is
not cohesive yet.
They're getting there.
They shoot too many threes.
I think they're still on that. They lost the championship slump. Eventually, they need to get over that and start playing.
The Lakers are over it.
Well, they won the championship. So
I know, but I mean, they were both in it. They both had to, time the long season. The Lakers, again, take injuries out of it. They've been the best team in the league. after Utah.
Utah
Utah is without a doubt the best team in the league, and they will continue to be. And again, as you know, the injuries in the NBA are so dramatic. The thing that I wanted to ask you is, why are there so many average teams? What do you think the reason is? Like I put a list down of average to bad teams, and they all have at least one great ball player. The common denominator, I could read all these names that I wrote down. So many of them, like the kid Fox in Sacramento, Randall in New York. You got Zach LaVine, what a player in Chicago.
Yes.
You got that kid Sexton in Cleveland. I mean, you got, what else did I write here? You got Trae Young in Atlanta. These are John Wall in Houston, Bradley Beal in Washington. They're all great players, but these teams are struggling. Why can't they get the backups to play with them? Why can't they get a stronger team behind them?
Because the teams, what's happening is in the last few years, and I want to say going back to even with a Jordan Pippen, it's usually you usually have a not only two good solid stars, but you also have a consistent third guy.
You got to have that third.
And that's what these average teams don't have right now, because even when you have, like, say, the Nets, right?
Yeah.
They were okay, and then as soon as the beard went there, it's like, okay, they might make a difference. They just need to do some cohesiveness
and play defense. It comes. Defense will come. They're never going to play defense?
No, that's not the kind of ball they play. They're just going to outshoot you and try to outscore you. Defense will come the last 2 minutes if you're that close. If they haven't been outshooting you that much,
they win games 143 to 130.
Yeah,
they beat New Orleans the other night, and no, it was Dallas. I'm sorry, Dallas was playing New Orleans. They win 143 to 130, and I'm like, again, they got some good ball players.
But it's okay. But then
Zion is good. You got in Dallas, of course, Luka. But Porzingis is up and down because
that's what I'm saying. His number 2 is not consistent. So
no.
His number 2 is not consistent. So his number 3 is not even who else?
Yeah. Well, you got Luka. You got, and then Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway Jr. is probably their third best player, or Finney. These guys aren't that good.
No.
They bring in Brunson, a guard, an undersized guard who plays hard. You look at New Orleans, the inconsistency. You got Zion and you got Brandon Ingram, but Brandon Ingram is a fragile dude. He's not good every night. Zion, if he's not around the rim and you got a good defender on him, they're not going to score. New Orleans continues to lose, man. They continue to lose, and they got a bunch of good young players. But you're right. You got to have that very, very solid 1 and 2.
And a consistent 3.
And a consistent 3. And I was thinking about this. The consistent 3 in Utah is a bunch of good players. It's not one guy. And when you have that consistent 3 as several guys, like one night it could be Clarkson. One night it could be Ingram. Not Ingram. It could be Clarkson. It could be any of those other Joe Ingles. I meant to say Ingram.
Ingles.
It can be Ingles.
Connolly. It could be.
It could be Connolly.
Because Mitchell and Gobert they're going to get theirs.
They're going to get theirs. But then you group those guys together that are good players, and every night, like Clarkson had that good game the other night. Ingles had 20 the other night.
But they're consistent.
Connolly's in and out. He plays good and he doesn't play good.
But they consistently get a third guy on a daily every time they play that shows up and does what they're supposed to be, that backup for those 2 guys, so then they can be off the floor and all of a sudden we're down 10 because because Mitchell is off the floor, and that's deflating. We see that with the Lakers.
Yeah.
LeBron gets off the floor. At times you see, okay, now he can't even just rest and relax. It's rest and
rushing back into the game.
Rushing back in the game because we don't want to they don't want to go down by so many points. Another team I want to talk about is Portland.
Portland's a little bit
Hard-working
overlooked right
team.
now. They're doing their thing. They're actually number 6 right now throughout the league. In case like all of a sudden like they're and with all of that, they're one of their best players is actually not on the floor right now. He's out, and that's McCollum.
And they got Jurkic is out
And
too.
Jokic is out too.
Yeah.
So
and Zach Collins is also out.
just like
Those are 3 starters.
So just like the Jazz, their backups are coming out.
Cantor's been a beast. Enes Kanter has come in for Jurkic, and he's playing fantastic.
And normally
Dame
Cantor's
is
not
great.
Cantor's not an offensive force. He's a defensive force.
Yeah.
And man, he's
picked
lighting
it
it up too. And then you have Carmelo Anthony. His leadership
Points are up.
and he's showing up too.
Yeah, Portland is playing great. Again, Terry Stotts is a great coach. And I know another team, I know, as I say, we could talk for hours about NBA because we love it so much and we've got the knowledge of it. A team that we don't want to overlook that's playing so well is Phoenix. 17-9. What a difference in culture there. They were playing good at the end of last year, but the missing piece was Chris Paul.
And
Paul comes in and he's a leader. He talks to these guys. He coaches them. Booker's playing better than ever. You know, they got Ayton in the middle, the kid from Arizona. Ayton is a really good center. This is a dangerous ball club, Phoenix. This is a dangerous
They're
ball
actually
club.
number 5. It's as you're saying it, and it's when they first came in, when the season first started, they were like blowing it up, killing it. And I think then they lost a few games after that, and I was like, oh, did the league catch up to them? And no, they adjusted themselves too,
Yeah.
and here they are.
They're
number
playing
5.
great ball.
Yeah.
Denver hasn't found their stride yet. Boston hasn't found their stride yet. Toronto hasn't found their stride yet.
They're
These
getting
are a
better.
lot of
They're
teams,
getting
and there's
better.
another team. You know, they got some good ball players in Toronto, but they don't have enough good ones right now. And they're struggling.
So
they're struggling.
Siakam is their best ball player.
Siakam, yeah, and
So-
he's
so
inconsistent.
Yes, and that's the thing. He's not consistent enough. They still need that one over the top. They need that one more superstar there to make a big difference. So what do you despite losing to the Jazz, what are your feelings on the Sixers?
The Sixers are capable. I mean, again, they lost last night. Embiid didn't play, so you can't really say Utah beat them. Again, Embiid is a difference maker. I believe that Philadelphia would have beat Utah last night if Embiid plays. Simmons had 40 points. He had a prolific game. Tobias Harris. Now, there's a team that has the 3. They've got Embiid, they've got Simmons, and they got Tobias Harris. Then they've got a good cast of players.
Not to mention they have Green and Curry, which are both
they got
prolific.
Curry and Green continues to play well.
And they just they're very good role players where you just come in, you want a good maybe 12 points from them, but you want a couple threes at key moments, either to deflate to stop whatever the other team's doing. But they're consistent in that sense. I think the way Embiid is playing, it reminds me of our old school basketball where that dominant center is doing whatever he wants.
MVP year.
Whatever he wants to do.
He's playing well. I'm very impressed with him.
Speaking of MVPs, who top 5
right
now?
now? Right.
Top 5 MVP. Like I would
LeBron,
and then I put Embiid in
Giannis, Embiid. You're going to have to talk about Donovan Mitchell and Lillard. That would be it for me.
And I can't disagree with you.
Yeah, that would be my top 5 guys right now. Lillard is leading that Portland team. He shows up every night. Donovan Mitchell is prolific. I mean, what is he? He 3rd or 4th year guy from Kentucky. What a player, man. The NBA is fun. We're having fun watching it. There's so many more things that we want to talk about, but it's at that point right now. We've talked about it. We're going to continue to talk about it. I also want to eventually give some tips on how to bet games, what to look for, trends in betting on NBA, because there are definite trends if you follow them.
Like last night, you would have bet on the Jazz, right?
All day long.
Because Embiid wasn't playing
All day long.
So you have to follow to see who's sitting and who's not.
Yeah, and there are some teams that are never going to win. I mean, like I think New Orleans is on a long losing streak. A couple of other teams. Again, you know, you look at that Memphis team, how hard they play with Ja Morant. What a kid. I mean, I thought about this a lot this morning. There are so many teams with great players. The NBA is full of great players, but these wonderful, wonderful athletes that are the only guy that you can count on these teams, and the people behind them just aren't good enough.
They're not good enough.
But I love to watch these stars play.
Because you have teams, you have top heavy teams that, like the Lakers, like the Clippers, you know, even like Brooklyn, that have all these stars. And instead of it being just because you need that third guy, that third star to win. So that's the formula right now. So teams are doing that.
Yeah, I tell you who you talk about three is Brooklyn's got the big three. When they're all playing, it's clicking. But that kid Joe Harris is a good ball player, overlooked, great outside shooter, hustler. That kid plays every night. I'd love to watch him play. He's one of my favorite guys in the NBA. To just see the way he hustles. He's in there with the big three in Brooklyn, but Harris continues to play good ball. Anyways, we could talk about this hour upon hour upon hour. We'll continue to talk NBA throughout the season. And thank you all for watching. A final thought on the NBA. What's sticking out in your mind still as we finish this show today?
I just one of the things to watch is, you know, like I don't necessarily like is all these players sitting, because they're already sitting for COVID protocols and stuff. So then now you're still doing load management. It's just a little frustrating. But as the season progresses, you know, we'll see the good teams do well, and the not so good teams will be waiting for that lottery ball.
I don't think much is going to change. I don't think much is going to change. I think what you see now is how it's going to be the rest of the year. Injuries are going to make a difference. Before we go, the one thing that stands out in my mind is Luka Doncic. That guy is unbelievable to watch him play. I just like watching Dallas win or lose, to watch that guy shoot and facilitate and do what he does, rebound, pass. Luka Doncic, you got to have him in that. You know, we threw 5 out quickly without really thinking too much about it, but you got to have Luka in there. What a ball player, man. And he's a thrill to watch. I love him. And if you get a chance, watch him. I mean, Dallas is on TV a lot. Watch the kid play. He's 21 years old, prolific.
He reminded me of a young Durant, where when Durant came in the league, I felt like anytime he put up a shot, it was going to go in.
Yeah.
And this is stuff that he's so athletic for such a big man. He is athletic. He does anything that he wants on that court.
I enjoy watching him. And there's, you know, as we were saying, a lot of players out there that aren't on good teams. I still like to watch him play. That Trae Young is something. Anyways, thank you for watching. This has been a good show. We have so much more to talk about. We'll get into it next week. We'll continue to watch trends in the NBA. The trades are coming up. The trade deadline is sometime in March, I think at the end of March. Continue to watch the show. Like it. Join it. Tell your friends about it. Give us thumbs up. Watch us on YouTube and Roku TV. We enjoy NBA a lot. It's really our area of expertise. And please continue to watch. Thank you for tuning in.
Hit that subscribe button.
Hit that subscribe button. This has been a fun show. Thank you. Let's talk NBA. We'll talk a lot more of it. Let us know what you think and what your thoughts are in the NBA and who the best players and teams are right now. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. God bless.